Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch The Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 5. Yes, you know it, guys, sometimes I'm watching episodes of The Twilight Zone. Yes, that old show in black and white, which was out for the first time, you know, in 1959. I decided that it would be a project that I would have like that on my channel, that I would react to a few episodes when I have the time on the schedule to do so. And right now I have that time because I finished, you know, to binge watch Villain Saga. I caught up, you know, on the final season of Vikings Valhalla, and I want to begin a new show. Right now on my Patreon, you're voting for it, you're deciding which one I'm gonna react to next. But because of that, I have a week, you know, at least for Patreon, during which I have 2 days available, so right timing to watch 2 new episodes of The Twilight Zone. How I selected these episodes, like I'm not going to react to all of the episodes of The Twilight Zone. I really selected on IMDb the 50 episodes with the better rates. And I have 50 episodes like that I'm going to discover little by little. I think that so far I watched like a dozen or 15 of them, something like that. And today, for me, I'm going to discover 2 new episodes from the season 2. Right now, this episode 5 and also the episode 7. That's gonna be great. I'm always interested, you know, to watch new episodes because, you know it, I really love the fact that this show, which was out so long ago, is in fact also really modern and talking about stuff which could happen right now, which are really an echo of our societies, which could still apply, or on the contrary, which seems so weird because, you know, people were imagining stuff about how would be the future with aliens and stuff like that, and in fact it's not happening. Like, it's always interesting, and it's always interesting also to see the references that maybe shows and movies that we know right now, which are out right now, in fact, are coming from this show. Like, really, people, writers, like people were inspired by the Twilight Zone, whether they wanted, they know it or not. And it's always interesting to see that, to see the connections between things. So 2 more episodes today. I have not a lot to say else during this intro. If not to tell you that on my Patreon, you're gonna have these reaction videos earlier, like always. You're gonna have them with the extended, the longer reaction part with the level 2 and the full one with the level 3, no matter what, with the full opacity. I'm forced to play with opacity because of the fair use rules. So if you want everything right, everything like I wanted you to see it, it's on my Patreon. The longer one, level 2, the full one, level 3. And maybe to tell you a little more about the episode that we're gonna watch right now, it's the episode 5, which is named The Howling Man. It was out in November of 1960. And the opening narration, the prostrate form of Mr. David Ellington, scholar, seeker of truth, and regrettably finder of truth. A man who will shortly arise from his exhaustion to confront a problem that has tormented mankind since the beginning of time. That guy is a seeker and finder of truth. Okay, like always with the Twilight Zone, it's gonna be weird and we love it. There is no issue with that. Just a little fair warning, really before beginning this episode. Today was a weird day for me. I was at funerals this morning. I made during the day 5 hours of driving, so I'm a little exhausted. You know, I had to wake up really early to do all of that and still to have the time to film 2 reaction videos today. So yes, I'm a little exhausted. I'm saying that, you know, for the full reaction part on Patreon. If maybe at some point you're seeing me, you know, like being like that, like I'm a little I'm a little tired, it's gonna be because of that. I'm sorry. Let's go for this episode to discover a new episode of The Twilight Zone.
I know, it's an incredible story.
You're talking directly to us?
More people know this.
Okay, you're already breaking the fourth wall.
They will believe
You're sweating a little.
I was on a walking trip through Central Europe. One night, I got lost in a storm. Please let me in. I'm lost.
I'm sorry we don't allow visitors in the hermitage.
Oh, I'm not. Listen, I'm a stranger here.
Are you supposed to be Moise? Oh, the fact that we are never straight, it's always turning like that, like what is disturbing?
I'll be alright once I drive out.
Wait here. I have to speak to Brother Jerome.
Ah, okay, it's your costume for your congregation, maybe. It's not an animal.
Brother Jerome will see you now.
What was that?
The wind comes.
My name's Ellington. I'm on a walking trip. Got lost in the storm.
Lost and sick.
Right here. What do you want from us? It's shelter, maybe some food.
What is his name? It's Saint-Pierre.
We cannot help you.
You know, asking question, you know, when you're entering to Paradise on Earth.
Prostrate form of Mr. David Ellington, scholar, seeker of truth, and regrettably finder of truth. A man who will shortly arise from his exhaustion to confront a problem that has tormented mankind since the beginning of time.
What's the question that all mankind, you know, is asking since the beginning of time? Religion? Ah, now the camera is okay. It's not moving anymore. Maybe because he's feeling better. Ow, to you.
Now, please, in the name of mercy, help me. You're not one of them. My name's Ellington. I'm an American. Shh. We have only moments. Come closer. They're mad, Mr. Ellington. All of them. I was in the village in Swansea. I was walking in the streets with my woman when we kissed. Is it wrong to kiss?
No.
Tell me. But Jerome, the lecherous old fool. I tried to open my mouth to speak before I could utter a sound. He raised that heavy staff he carries. You've seen it? And he hit me again and again. Why?
Because you kissed?
Revenge. Because she refused his advances. He took his fury out on me. I find this difficult to believe. Of course you do, Mr. Ellington. He makes his madness seem a harmless thing. The madness of a religious zealot. I'll speak to Jerome. No! He's the greatest maniac of them all. Well, then how can I help you?
Mr. Ellington, come with me, please.
I must talk with you.
This way.
Son, I'm not your son.
You don't understand.
That's right, I don't. So why don't you tell me? Why in such a hurry for me to leave? What are you afraid I'll find out? It's the man you have locked up in the cell, isn't it, brother?
Man is this, Mr. Ellington?
The one we just left. The one who's been screaming his head off.
I'm not sure you know what you're saying.
It doesn't exist? Ah, that's it. We're back with it.
I don't know much about this.
The camera.
No man has ever been imprisoned in the hermitage, Mr. Ellington.
I was just talking with him.
You talk to no man.
And you see, he's standing like
You're
that.
very ill, Mr. Ellington.
Don't tell me you didn't hear that.
We're back.
I'll find out eventually, you know.
What do
There
you
is a
mean?
meaning behind the camera doing so.
Would you really go to the police?
Would you?
I told you the truth, but only partly. Now I see I shall have to tell you the whole truth. Shut the door, Mr. Ellington.
When he's not ill and convinced about stuff, the camera is like that. When he's ill and doubting, the camera is moving.
Saul is not man. It is the devil himself.
I think that you look like each other.
Ask for the truth.
Why do you think so?
You believe, don't you?
Sure, of course.
No. Now it is you who are lying, Mr. Ellington. Now quite certain of what you suspect, that I am mad. Sit down, Mr. Ellington. Let me tell you a story, and we'll see how certain you are that I am mad. How certain you are of anything. You consider us to be primitive because we live here in solitude. away from the so-called real world. It is I who am assuring you. I am not the ignorant fanatic I would appear. Our job is to tend the vineyards and save what souls we could by constant prayer. That time, shortly after the Great War, the world was in chaos. Everywhere was unhappiness. For some reason, the people of Schwarzwald refused to yield to despair. They lost none of their faith.
What about you and your group?
It was a plunge to Satan, one he could not resist. So he came here and embarked upon a program of corruption. Did you stop?
What?
Yes.
What program of corruption?
He made the same mistake that you have made. He underestimated me. I had him in a cell before he knew what happened.
With
With the
what?
staff of truth. One barrier he cannot pass. Tell me, how did you recognize the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape?
For me, he looks like you, but okay.
Brother,
Not that I doubt you, you understand, only isn't it possible you might have made a mistake?
no, think, Mr. Ellington. Think of the peace in the world these last 5 years. Think of this country now. We caused most of our own griefs. We need no help from him. It is the unnatural catastrophes, the great wars, the overwhelming pestilences, the wholesale sinning that we have stopped.
Oh, wait for 1939, like really?
Do you truly?
Yes, I promise to keep you a secret.
Good, my son.
He lied to you, didn't he? I can see that. What did he say?
They look like each other, no? Brother Jerome and him.
The devil. What a dream for an old devil. To catch the devil and knock him out. You don't believe him, do you?
Apparently he has doubts.
Then help me. Brother Jerome was fearful you might lose your way. Why are you locking the door? To protect you. Rest on the feet.
Oh really? He's sleeping with you. In the same room with you.
Come. Good. What do you want me to do? Lift off the wooden boat. Is this all it holds you in? Yes.
The staff.
Why haven't you done it yourself? Please, there's no time to talk. Ellington,
The staff of truth is blocking you, but just with your arm you could have done it.
Hurry! Hurry! Stop!
Ah, you truly locked him inside.
Put this out the storm.
Oh! He truly had powers, evil powers? Oh, and right there with the cape. Woo! Well done! Satan is free!
I'm sorry for you, my son. All your life you will remember this night, and you know, Mr. Ellington,
That you
whom
freed
you have turned loose upon the
the
world.
devil.
I saw him, didn't recognize him.
That is man's weakness and Satan's strength.
To not recognize what is evil?
I decided to spend the rest of my life tracking him down. To recapture the evil I'd released. Evil that soon took the shape of the Second World War. The Korean War, the hideous new weapons of war. It took many years, but I did it. See, I've never been there now. You understand why you must not, under any circumstances, go near that door. You see how important it is that he stay locked up. I'm sending him back to Brother Jerome.
Is she gonna believe you?
Remember, keep that door locked.
If a strange man is coming at your place and asking you to do that, telling you of that story, would you do it?
Ancient folks say, you can catch the devil, but you can't hold him long. Ask Brother Jerome. Ask Dave Ellington. They know, and they'll go on knowing.
I wanted to see him to be sure.
Rod Serling, create.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking about the subject of this episode because, like always, with the Twilight Zone, you have one or multiple subjects into the same episode. Right there, the fact that after the First World War they were considering that they had to catch up. I'm wondering which message is into this episode, because with the Twilight Zone you have into each episode one or more messages, so I'm really like, for this one it was what? Clearly there is a question of the religion, of having faith or not, doubting or not. You know, the fact that he came into that sanctuary being lost, and a devil tried to manipulate him. A man of faith tried to convince him, but he sounded crazy, so he didn't believe him, Mr. Ellington. So because of that, he released the devil, and yes, now the devil is free because of him. You can read it, you know, like people who are not believing because they can't prove things, and when they are listening to people believing, everything sounds really crazy, so at the end they still don't believe, but because of that they can commit a mistake and they can release evil. Like, it's really the primary way to read that episode. You can have also all of the aspects about devil who manage to manipulate you, to make you think that he's not, you know, the bad person, he's a good person, and to have you in his side. For that, it's not only Satan himself, you know, it's really like bad things, bad persons are gonna make you believe that they're the right ones and everyone else is the bad ones, and it's only at the very end when you are in front of the consequences of what you did and or of what that person did that you are like, okay, in fact, they were truly bad people. That it's a not religious aspect of that episode. And with the conclusion, you know, you can go with it with the conclusion. Me, I'm wondering really about these movements of the camera, and the fact that sometimes it was really a regular one, and a lot of times it was moving like that. For me, at the beginning, I thought that it was moving when he was sick, because we saw that he entered into that sanctuary being sick, and then it was okay, it was straight, but then it was moving again. So after that I was like, maybe it's not because he's sick, it's when he's doubting. If really this episode is about faith, in fact when he has doubts it's moving, and when he's convinced by someone suddenly it's not moving anymore, by one side or by the other side, you know, I'm not talking about one side in particular. I think that there is something like that, you know, behind the symbolic of moving the camera like that, and no matter what, it's losing a little, you know, the viewer, because we're lost with the character. Do you understand what I mean? We are lost with him, we're feeling sick like him. It's on purpose also for that. I'm wondering, for the rest of the Wikipedia page, what does it say about it? The first aired episode of the second season was not written by Rod Serling. Charles Beaumont had originally envisioned that the monks would keep the devil imprisoned by putting a cross in front of his cell door. Fearful of a backlash in the religious community, the producers subtitled the Staff of Truth over Beaumont's objections. You know that thing also about the Staff of Truth who detains truly the truth. In fact, people who are believing into God, Satan and stuff like that, or people who are not believing. Right now I have the impression that this show is pushing people to believe into God, into the devil, into having that faith, you know, following the monks, following the religion, listening carefully, obeying to their orders, even if you don't understand them, even if you have some doubts about them, no matter what, you have to believe and to trust people with faith, because they know. It's a little like that, you know, the conclusion of it, like if you're really following the religious aspect of this episode, the conclusion is mostly that. And after that, he spent his entire life trying to find the devil, to stop him, he managed to find him and to stop him, but he cannot convince anyone else, not that maid. So she's gonna release the devil again. Meaning that when you learn the truth, when you have faith yourself, it's gonna be difficult for you to convince people. People can only be convinced when they committed a mistake, you know, by themselves. For the religion or for the rest, maybe it's also a message through that episode that people cannot be convinced only by words. They have to experience something bad, they have to face something bad to understand what is the truth, what is good. Maybe that can be also a message of this episode. Independently, you know, to the religious aspect or not, I'm saying that. Okay, that was a good episode. Not my favorite, with all of the episodes that we watched together, but I think that it was a nice one. I appreciated it. Tell me, what did you think about it? Maybe the first time that you saw it on screen, tell me about it. I'm always interested by your opinion because I don't have a lot of people watching my reaction videos about the Twilight Zone, but the few of you who are watching them, you have really interesting comments because most of the time you already know these episodes, you discovered them a long time ago, you remember them and the impact that it had on you during the time that you watched it, and the fact that I'm watching it with a total different context, and the fact that I watched a lot of other shows and movies into my life, like for sure it's making me see it with a different aspect. Like if I have to put myself in 1960, you know, watching an episode like that, maybe with all of the discussion about the wars, about being afraid of a war coming back because the devil is out, maybe it would have a different impact also on me. Tell me again, what did you think about it right now and the first time that you watched it? Okay, so it's all for you for this video. Me, I'm gonna watch one more. So it's all for me for now. Bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Crazy.